And see what's going on here on the YouTubes. All right, so we are diving into the wave of being. So this is something that comes up often for me, and that is this idea that we are, hold on, I'm just letting another person into the Zoom room, that we are, this moment that we're in right now, this actual moment is everything. It's not happening later. It didn't happen before. It's not, we're not going to transcend to something else and then that's the thing. But this right now, this moment is the thing. So here's the invitation to dive into being in this moment now, in this time, with this everything that's going on for you, right? So that we can learn to be present with anything that's going on, and also to understand that it may be different for you. You may be going to, meet your maker at another time. But I prefer to think that this is it, that this is the whole thing. And all the shit that you're going through, all the good stuff you're going through, everything that came before, everything that's going to come, really, it's only here right now that we're ever dealing with, this particular moment that we're in. So there's a lot of embodiment practice that can help us find our way into that moment through our body. Even staying focused, concentration practices can help us find our way into the moment, like, oh, but that takes a lot of effort. So what if it's okay to just be here in whatever's happening in an easy way, in a, oh, that's what's happening way. So we're going to start, I'm on a ball so I can bounce easily. But let's just start with finding the up and downness of our body. And we can do it through finding the sense of midline with our hands. Like you're finding the vertical dimension, the up and downness of being. Just finding what that feels like. It could be that you go up at the same time, come down at the same time, or you can be going separately. You can find it between your hands, but just finding this central idea of up and downness. This is fundamental to living on the planet. Gravity will always tell us where down is, and the water in our body will help us know where down is. So finding out what's up and what's down in your body, letting it be as big as feels good. But tuning into the vertical dimension. And if you're laying down, then maybe it's going to be sort of forward and backward for you, up maybe toward the ceiling and down toward the floor. However it works for you, finding what is this vertical dimension up and down. And we're going to add a sound with this. So it's going to be kind of a open vocal cord sound, and it's going to be ah, really opening up your mouth with that sound. So like ah, you can play with opening wider and then bringing it in. If you're somewhere where it's uncomfortable to make noise, then feel free to just go ah. So I can find that. It doesn't have to be that we're inhaling high and exhaling low. We're just finding this up and downness and imagining, even though it's kind of right in front of me, that I'm also finding the up and downness of the central channel of my body, the inner central energetic channel that understands this relationship to gravity. If I lay down, it's something different, but this central channel of my body, somewhat aligned with my nervous system, somewhat aligned with my spinal cord, but really not necessarily confined by it. So tuning into that verticality. And I feel like in a sort of metaphysical way, when we come into this up downness, if I just do it here, I'm really indicating myself, coming into my I amness. I am here right now. And I'm going to allow this movement to be sort of fluid and flowing so that there's a sense of connection, right? Flow connects movement. If I stop, I broke the flow, right? If I keep it going, there's a connection through the flow. So tuning into this idea of finding flow in the up and downness, in the vertical. Ah. Even looking up and down, heaven and earth, connecting heaven and earth, central channel of yourself in the middle between those two places. Here we are in the middle right now on the planet Earth that we belong to. We are earthlings. The earth is going to hold us on the planet with its gravitational pull. We're going to breathe the air of the earth. Here we are. Here I am. Tuning into that and using just that up and downness. Anytime you want to know where you are, you can just close your eyes and feel into your verticality. The water in our body is always going to tell us where down is. That's why sometimes when people go diving, they can't feel up or down because they're surrounded by water already. They don't have the same information because they're not in the air environment, they're in the water, and their water of their body isn't going to give them the same information, right? Bubbles are going to go up. That's how people find out. Where are the bubbles going? The bubbles are going up. The air is rising out of the water, right? So just thinking of that, like we are these bodies of water, but the bubbles are going up through the water if we're underwater. And finding that sort of effervescence, maybe finding some lightness with that idea of air rising easily out of water. If we let go of a bubble in the pool of water, it's going to bloop its way up to the top. Let's just close our eyes for a few breaths, and you can let the movement either stop or keep going with it. But breathing into that verticality. Feeling the verticality in your mouth as you open wide with the ah, either making a vocal sound or no vocal sound. Ah. You can imagine the vibration of the sound moving through your tissue, through your whole body. Maybe some wave movement is coming into your body. So wave-like movement into your torso, inviting it in. Your body might be going, oh, I've had enough of this up and downness. I need some other stuff. So allow that micro movement to percolate up. Let the bubbles move their way through, but coming into this sensation in your body. And I'm going to use this as a little energetic exercise called the hookup, belly button and middle of your forehead. Close your eyes and just feel into that. Feel into that. So when I feel into the hookup, I don't feel like the space in front of my body. I feel it go deep into the middle of my body and come back down and then come back out. So it's almost like traveling in, down, and then back to my belly. So feeling if you feel any sense of connection or if anything comes up for you there with that hookup. Hooking into the moment, hooking into sensation, hooking into being present now in your body, on the planet, with anything that's arising, all the good, all the bad, in the dynamic moment of being alive, right? It's always shifting and changing. We can't hold on to anything for very long, the good or the bad. So letting it flow. And then we're going to take pubic bone and the top of your head. You could imagine your pelvic floor through the crown of your head. It's feeling into that really central channel, maybe even above your head, maybe even below your pelvis. Tuning into that feeling. You can also try inhaling, like almost like a yawn. Opening up through your mouth with that yawn feeling. Freeing up the pattern of your face, freeing up the pattern of whoever you are, whoever you think you are, and letting whoever's arising right now just be there. And then let's just let that go for a second. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. So we're going to move to the horizontal dimension, the side, and just opening and closing there. And it's interesting because I was thinking really inviting you into the wave of being, but I'm kind of moving with these simple, almost linear patterns. But if we think of this movement as being spirals within there, ripples within there, really energetic movement, like whirlpools, eddies moving through our movement, almost like the breath flow, the fluidity of air, the fluidity of the breath flow. And we can think of widening our rib cage, lungs, and arms together, and then letting it narrow back in. Also, we're kind of creating the mandala of the octahedron with this movement, right? We had our up, down of the vertical, the above and below, as above, so below. Now we're opening into the side of the horizontal dimension, the side of the octahedron. I had a thing to show you the octahedron down here, but I don't see it now. So opening into that side space. And let's do a E sound. And you could do the E with a vowel or just with a, it could be like a he. As slow or as fast as you want. Big or small. As I started to get into that E with the actual vocal cords, I started to really feel into my head, the sideness between my ears. So the horizontal moving through my head, which is actually in line with the whole sort of fascial structure that is your cerebellum tentori or tentorium. It's like this little sort of tent-like structure that's separating your upper brain, supporting the upper brain. It's kind of like a tent. So it's not exactly horizontal, but it's kind of doing this inside. So as I'm making this E vibration, I'm inviting that movement in the tissue inside of my head, inside of my brain, inside of the rest of my body to undulate. Still working with this opening and closing of the sideness of my octahedron. And I may at some point even want to cross midline, reaching to the other side. So that's also an option. Right, and this up, down, side appears in a lot of things. Like, what is the cross? An up, down, and a side, right? The sign of the cross, the up, down, side. Before we add the forward, backward. E, in your E, I could just E like without my mouth widening, but think of your lips widening, your smile, even if it's a fake smile, it's just an E sound smile. You're just making it big. E. Resting breaths whenever you need them. Finding the sideness. So I kind of feel like the sideness is like the we. If this is the I am, here's the we are, me and you, my two friends next to me. Hello, hello. Or we could think of the whole horizontal plane as this big round table where we're all spreading and gathering together. So maybe taking it into that. And as we do that, we're actually adding the front back space, right? With the horizontal dimension, We add some forward, backward, and we have the horizontal plane. So we've added a little bit of sagittal, which we'll get to in a minute. But let's feel this sensation of sharing, spreading, opening, and gathering back in. Like this is very community oriented, this we space. At the round table, everyone is equal. We all have equal value. Also, we can share, we can receive, and we can share what we have to offer. Gathering in whatever you need, gathering, and scattering out, releasing what you don't need, sharing it, sharing all the good things, and just letting go of anything unnecessary through that horizontal plane. Maybe even feeling into the back space of the horizontal plane, spiraling. Big table to clean off. Oh, I need to clear off the whole table. I need all this empty space. So I'm just going to swipe it all off. As you're moving and swiping, maybe feeling what your skin feels like, feeling what your clothes feel like, feeling what the air feels like, right? Even in a closed room, as I swipe the table off, I can feel the air on my skin. And letting that one go and just feeling again into the effects, the lingering sort of shadow trace form of that movement in your body. Like if somebody in the night flashes fire around, you can see the outline of where it has been. So thinking of that with movement, I can feel that movement still lingering and echoing. That's really what it is, an echo vibration of movement in my body, and maybe sound. Feeling into that sideness. And then taking it into the forward backward. We're going to just play with the forward backward for a few minutes, and then we're going to go 100% three-dimensional and get down on the floor with some music probably. So feeling the forward backward, the sagittal dimension right out in front of you, right behind you, right? Sagittal like Sagittarius. Boom. You want to shoot your arrow straight. And I think of this forward backwardness as decision making, as my will. I will do this. I will not do this, right? I'm going to move forward. I'm going to take a step back. So it's this choice making, decision making, willpower. I'm ready to move forward. And sometimes we don't know. Am I ready to move forward with this? If you feel it into your body, not yet. Wait until the impulse comes to move forward. You could do all of this standing as well. Moving forward into space, backing it up, feeling, if we're coming into that octahedron again, sometimes what came before, the support in our DNA of our ancestors, the energetic patterning that we've taken on from our families, our culture, all that kind of stuff, all the stuff that brought us here. Here we are right now, in the middle of the past and the future. What are we feeling in here? I want to just add that for me in my life right now, I've had a tremendous amount of stress. Some of it's really good stress, some of it's really bad stress, but it's causing a lot of ruckus in my own system, causing a ruckus and a rumpus. How do I play with that? How do I sit with it? And part of it is by going, that's what's happening right now, and I'm still here. And I want to say that the non-dual sort of emptiness ideas of like everything is empty, which doesn't really mean that it doesn't exist. It just means that it's shifting, changing, dynamic, never one thing sits solid, stuck, and the same. But for me, that kind of makes me feel very empty when all of the crazy stuff is going on. I'm like, oh, which may be good or maybe bad. I don't want to feel like I'm bypassing. But I want to be present with myself as all the stressful things come and go. Am I ready to let go and move forward? Am I ready to back up? How can I be present with everything that's going on in the world, in my body, in the system around me, and just be here in this moment? Allowing whatever my body needs to move with to be there and to move with it, or to let it release, right? The tensions we don't even know we're holding on to. So we're going to do a sound with that. And the sound is ooh. So like a, could be just aspirated, like a wind, or with a vocal cords. Ooh. Feeling the forward backwardness. You can imagine the sound coming from way behind your head. Ooh. Ooh. Feeling into that forward backward movement, right? A lot of times rocking forward and backward is really a self-soothing method, right? My grandma, who lived to be 105 and a half, had a rocking chair and she rocked all the time, right? So there's this natural flow happening at all times when we add that little fluid moving forward and backward, little rock. And I'm easily doing it because I'm on this ball. So I can just do a little push pull and I can rock and I can let that ripple and wave through my body. So really inviting in the wave from the bottom to the top or from the top to the bottom. The wave of being in this moment right now, right? The flow of life, allowing ourselves to be in the flow of life. If we're resisting reality, if we're struggling with reality, that appears in our body. And it's not to say that we can just perfectly flow through everything and be all greased up and everything's fine. We're going to have our moments. And those are usually our biggest learnings where we're really, oh, right? So that's part of life. Can we be with those moments? Still showing up for ourselves in whatever way we need to. Allowing ourselves to be in life with everything that's going on, not shutting it down, not shutting it out entirely. Sometimes we need to, but letting it be what it is. Life is happening in so many levels, on so many ways. What's happening in your system? Ooh. So even with my ooh, I can feel this kind of like pulsing. It's almost like the air isn't coming completely evenly. Once I started focusing on that, it started to come out more evenly. But the movement of air isn't linear. So this idea of this linear thing is just an idea. It's just a concept. Like our octahedron, it's a concept of a platonic solid of a shape around us that corresponds very nicely with our concept of the 3 dimensions, right? So when we start to move those, feel those, awaken to them, enliven them. So we have this relationship with the side-sideness, with the forward-backward. And it's not just a conceptual relationship, it's a relationship where I can move forward, I can move backward, I can open up, I can close, I can rise, I can descend, right? I can connect to the earth, I can connect to the heavens, right? So we're using these dimensions as access and entry into being in our body in a way that maybe we aren't most of the time, right? Maybe most of the time we're right or left hand dominant, but in this we can play with both sides, feeling the 2 sides. And then we can break all the rules and go into a really 3-dimensional patterning, right? I am moving forward, up and to the side. I am moving back, down, and to the side, or I'm crossing. And as all that's happening, there's this like fluid spiraling motion that's hydrating tissue, freeing up my nervous system. My little nerves are gliding through my fascia, getting this movement going, oh, little nerves. There's some really big nerves, and then they make their way out to smaller and smaller ones. feeling into that, letting your nervous system have this free flow movement where it's like, okay, we've learned all that stuff. We have those concepts. Now let's just move. Let's just play. Let's just be. So I'm going to add music. And get down on the floor and maybe stand up, but just shift it around. It's definitely, again, Jeff Gersh, ambient fields. One day, maybe I will use somebody else as much, but for now, this is very easy to do. And this is ambient fields. The album number is 2, and this is the song number is 1. I believe this was all made in Iceland. Letting the music strum your body, letting the music inspire movement, fluidity with those three dimensions able to shift and change, right? We just found them. Now we're letting them go, or we're playing with them, whatever feels good to you. Inviting in the sort of, I want to say, animal, vegetable, mineral parts of your body to move in whatever ways they want to move, inviting in a sense of fluidity and flow. And if you're feeling resistance in your body, invite that in too. Like, this isn't about making everything perfect. This is just about allowing everything to be, because it already is. It already exists. And if you find yourself sort of wandering off to what happened yesterday or what you're going to do later tonight, see if you can bring it back in to this moment. Feeling into the movement, or maybe it's just micro movement and breath. Allowing awareness to wander through your body, shining the light of awareness on any little patterning that's ready to let go, any patterning that has been holding you back or being kind of calcified or rigid. Inviting in the guidance of your animal body to let go of some of your human ideas about who you are and how you should be and what should happen. Think about dogs existing in the moment, or cats. Who knows how much they're worrying about the future and the past? Maybe a little bit. Think about animals playing. There is no other moment than that moment when an animal is at play. Inviting that into your body. Maybe you have things in your life that you do that really tune you into the moment. So often in like meditation classes, people wonder about how they can take their awareness or the gentleness that they find or the compassion that they find on the cushion off the cushion. So just offering that finding flow in your body is going to help find flow in your life. when you start to notice, oh, I'm kind of holding some tension there, maybe I can let that go. Maybe I can be a little more fluid around this. And it's easier to find that through movement than through stillness. Flow is continual movement. And we are in flow, really, because we're always breathing and our blood is flowing at all times. Our nervous system, our energetic patterns, the currents of our energy through our body are also flowing. Could the blood flow better? Could the lymphatic fluid flow better? Could you invite in more ease? What would that look like? What would that feel like? Can you bring in that feeling now? Invite it. If the flow of thoughts is overwhelming, just notice it as a flow. Notice it as a stream. If the flow of sensation is overwhelming, slow it down or speed it up, shake it out. Or sensation can be overwhelming. Even if you are accustomed to doing a lot of somatic work, sometimes you start to feel your body so sensitively at all times that it's actually unhelpful, right? So we also want to have some space where we can watch that that's what's happening, but not be totally attached to it. Like, oh my God, my body, I feel everything, I can't take it. But more like, oh, my body's feeling these things. I can see that happening. I can witness and witness it. Diving into the wave of being and feeling that wave as an ongoing stream of movement and change, dynamic. It may be changing very slowly, but it's changing all the time. The in-breath, the out-breath, receiving, releasing. Yeah, there's that book, The Unbearable Lightness of Being. But how funny is that? That idea that being can be so light that it's unbearable. But it's true. Sometimes, like, we can find even pleasure too much, or even discomfort overwhelms us. Something that feels too good overwhelms us, right? All of it's shifting and changing. Upgrading the sort of energetic system, doing breath work, doing somatic practices, whatever. When we start to change, our body has to adjust. So letting our body adjust in taking its time. Maybe we need to back off sometimes. Maybe it's too fast, it's too much. Or maybe we need to dive in deeper. Trusting our own inner self to know. And then sometimes we find the boundary because we went too far. That's how we learn. Can you give yourself some internal spaciousness? Spaciousness to exist right here on the planet right now, in the wave of being, in the flow of life. No need to fight against it. It is what it is. It's just happening. Just noticing your own perfectionism. Every once in a while it arises. Can we let it go? Can we let it go? Or your self-judgment, or your criticism, which doesn't mean we don't need to be discerning. We want to just notice, oh, I am getting riled up. That's what's happening. Or, oh, I'm getting so calmed. That's delicious. Sometimes we enjoy getting riled up, right? Think of going to a sports event, or seeing a movie, or a dance performance. Probably going to take us on a few emotional journeys. And maybe if we're doing that with other people, we get some social, tribal centering. Group centering, belonging. We let our emotions be there. They're shifting, they're changing. We don't need to shove them away or stuff them somewhere else. Let them be there. It's so interesting how inhibited we can be culturally, emotionally, or maybe I'm speaking for myself. Maybe it's not that way for you. How do we skillfully navigate our own emotions in groups, with other people, with ourselves? I guess we're coming to the end of this. I didn't even notice the time, and I see my mom outside trying to figure out where to put the car. We've got all this construction on the street. I'm just going to run outside and tell her I'm going to stop the live stream. So enjoy yourself in your live stream. Take a few minutes to breathe and hang out.